Hello everybody, welcome back to a Raboot Halloween, where in this video we are welcome to a Raboot Halloween 2022, where for this video we are taking a look at a sequel to the 2018 film Zombies. Yeah, you remember that movie? Yeah, it got turned into a franchise. Because Disney Channel couldn't profit off of Descendants Forever. They couldn't profit off of Descendants Forever, or they had to make Zombies a franchise. Now they're gonna make Under Wraps a franchise, I guess. I hate society. But my opinions on the first movie kind of changed after seeing the sequels. After the first movie, I actually have to apologize. After seeing the sequels, I have to apologize to the first movie. Because at least with the first film, it didn't rehash plot elements from the first. It didn't rehash plot elements from the movie in its own franchise. Like Zombies 2 definitely does. And once I get into Zombies 3, most likely next year, you'll see how that movie basically rehashes the plot of the first movie once again. But basically the plot of the movie is that we followed the characters from the last two, our favorite duo from the last two movies, Addison and Zed, as Zed is trying to ask out Addison to the prawn. Yeah, that's what they call it. You get it? Because their mascot's a shrimp. I hate Disney Channel. I hate Disney Channel movies. Why do we have more Zombies sequels and Owl House is gonna get canceled after like 3 seasons? After like a quarter of a season 3. But anyways, Zed's plans go off the rails and the werewolves show up. And for some ungodly reason, the mayor of the town decides to reinstate the monster laws that she made in the first movie and basically segregates the zombies again for absolutely no reason. Like, I get why she's fearing about the werewolves, but the zombies literally... But we've already proven by the first movie that the zombies literally did nothing wrong. That the zombies have done nothing wrong. And the second movie basically is deciding to punish them for absolutely no reason. And besides, we need conflict in the plot. Anyways, while that's happening, Addison gets a white streak in her hair, which the wolves figure out is that Addison is actually prophesized. And, excuse me. Yeah, they figure out Addison is part of their prophecy. Yeah, excuse me? At least it's less stupider than what the third movie decides to do with aliens. Don't worry, I'll get into that tease later. But anyways, now Addison and Zed have to figure out a way to assimilate the werewolves into their society. And for them to all live in harmony and peace. This movie sucks. With my first major complaint being what I've mentioned earlier in the video, it rehashes elements from the first movie. It rehashes a very big element from the first movie that didn't really need to be rehashed. The discrimination moral. I mean, it's nice that they're trying to make a message about discrimination, about to not discriminate against people, all for their species, I guess, because werewolves are involved and zombies are involved. Well, I guess that's a nice moral, but the way they use it is that instead of figuring out some new way to introduce this moral or to portray this moral again, they decide to do what the first movie literally did. They literally just decide to rehash what the first movie did. And change and just decide, let's have them discriminate against werewolves now. Then in the third movie, we'll have them discriminate against freaking aliens. Yeah, the songs are not good either. Or the songs in the first movie were not memorable, but this movie and the first movie have the same issue where the songs are easily forgettable. Oh, and most of them and right after the movie ends, will probably be forgotten. And also, the acting is also, some of the acting is okay, I guess. I mean, most of the students at the school are kind of annoying. But I guess the people playing the werewolves are not that bad. Are not that bad of actors. And I'll give them credit, the makeup is pretty good as well. And the makeup on the zombies is pretty alright. But that's my only thing that I'd say nice about this movie. Because Zombies 2 is probably the most forgettable scene. Because Zombies 2 ends up being a movie that can easily be forgotten. That is easily forgettable once the movie's over. I'd say after seeing the third movie, which I'll get into next year, I'd say the third movie is a lot worse than Zombies 2. But I'd say each sequel gets worse than the other one. Like, Zombies 1 is probably the best one of the franchise, to be honest. Zombies 1 probably became the best of the franchise. I was just off of the fact that it did some of the stuff first. That did some of these plot elements first before the sequels ended up doing it. I know it's not the first time that we've had a story about how the whole message is that we all have to not judge people by their differences. I know that message has been done multiple times before, But out of the trilogy, Zombies 1 did it the best. Zombies 2 did it worse. And Zombies 3 just did it absolutely atrociously. Ian made the most nonsensical sequel I've ever seen in my life. And made one of the most nonsensical sequels I have ever seen. And somehow made a movie in 2022 worse than Morbius. Like, yeah. A movie in 2022 that was somehow worse than Morbius. I kind of find that impossible. I kind of thought that would be impossible till Zombies 2 ended up taking that place. But yeah, overall, Zombies 2 is the most Overall, Zombies 2 is definitely not a good movie. I definitely not recommend to watch it. Because it's not even so bad that it's funny. It's not even so bad that you could just laugh at it. Zombies 2 is just a terrible sequel. Well, that ends up taking the parts that ended up taking the most bland parts of the first movie. That ended up taking the most generic element of the first movie. And ends up amping it up to 11. With the fact that the tease for the sequel completely caught me off guard when I first watched it. With, Addison seeing a freaking UFO, or the freaking aliens showing up at the end of the second movie. Which, yeah, that caught me off guard, but not in a good way that I think the movie was intending. I overall give Zombies 2 a 1 out of 10. I probably give Zombies 2 a 2 out of 10 overall. It's not as bad as the third movie, but I definitely say it's worse than the first one. I definitely say overall it's worse than the first movie. So that does it for Raboot Halloween. I'll see you guys later, and don't forget, you gotta catch 'em.